Hey there, everybody. I am Allegra. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to capture an idea today that I hope helps some of you, particularly if you identify with the idea of being a Superthinker coach. A Superthinker coach is a coach who leads with and has multiple thinking strengths in your top 5. Now, what I mean by that, let me give you a little bit of context. When I work with a coach, the very first thing we do together is your UMAP. The program I run is called UMAP for Coaches, and UMAP, there's other videos on my channel that kind of tell you what it is, but essentially it's just a very holistic and intuitive and actionable assessment tool that is a combination of 4 different assessments: strengths, values, skills, and interests. And in our work together, I help you understand and start applying all of those things to your work as a coach. But for the purpose of today's conversation, I'm really thinking about that strengths piece. And so again, when a coach has their UMAP done, the results of that assessment are going to show you your top 5 strengths. We use an assessment developed by Gallup. It's a Clifton Strengths Finder assessment, and they have identified 34 strengths. And as a result of your assessment, you're given your top 5. You can also unlock your full 34 in order, but to start out, we look at your top 5. And one of the very first exercises we do is we ask, what categories do those 5 strengths fall under? Now, within the Clifton Strengths, there are 4 categories. There are 2 outward-facing categories and 2 inward-facing categories. The outward-facing categories are relating strengths. These are how you naturally connect with people individually, one-on-one. There are influencing strengths. These inform how you do your work through others, right? How you motivate, how you inspire, persuade, how you influence people. So really it's your ability to work through groups and other people. When we move on to the internal, kind of the inward-facing categories, there are executing strengths. People with a lot of executing strengths towards the top can get things done. They are the doers. And I will let you in on a little secret. I don't have an executing strength until like number 13. And then the final category of strengths, another inward category, are thinking strengths. All right? Super thinkers usually have multiple thinking strengths in their top 5. Some examples of these include things like learner. Learners love learning, right? So if you're always like signing on for new programs and you just want to learn all about everything, you might be a learner. Input is a strength. Those with input love collecting information. You love having resources perhaps to give to others. Intellection is just loving thinking about things, just having intellectual conversations and just really spending time processing on an idea that you enjoy. Ideation is a thinking strength. Strategy is a thinking strength, really being able to see the dots and how they connect together. Analytical is a thinking strength, again, being able to analyze information for cause and effect. Futuristic, right? If you spend a lot of time thinking about the future and can see, kind of like map out what's going to be coming. Or you might have context, right? And you really love making sense of the past. These are all thinking strengths. And I'm very curious if you're listening and you're like, yeah, those are the things that come naturally to you. You might be a Superthinker coach. The reason why I want to bring attention to this is because I think that the coaching industrial complex really glorifies action, right? Take massive action, create plans, have strategies, do this, follow plans and timelines. There's an urgency in getting things done. I know that I really like moving into action. Activator, which is an influencing strength, is actually towards the top for me. So if you follow any of my work, I love helping coaches get unstuck and into action. And I never want how I mentor or support a coach to be in conflict with your UMAP, with your strengths. I am here to help you maximize your gifts. And one of the things that I see show up in Superthinkers, and it's not across the board, none of this is universal, is oftentimes your relationship as a super thinker to taking action is different. There is a thoughtfulness to it. There is a time that wants to be taken to consider, right? To look at things through all of your thinking strengths before deciding what to do next. It is not uncommon for super thinkers to for action to feel edgy, right? Because you want to think through all the steps, perhaps. You want to learn more. You want to collect more information before taking action. And this, in some ways, I think in the current kind of coaching industrial complex, it hasn't been uncommon to work with a superthinker coach and come up against the story that being a superthinker is in some ways incompatible or in contrast to what coaching looks like or what we need to do to build our coaching practice. And I really want to open up this conversation for any of you coaches who either know that you're super thinkers or think that you might be a super thinker, that there is no one right way to do this. There is no one right way to be a coach. There is no one right way to build a coaching practice, but there is a right way for you. And I just want you to hear that if the other ways that you've been seeing out there, like, well, they're doing it this way and they're doing it that way, and I guess I have to do it that way might not be a good fit for how you like to show up in the world and do your work. And so I really think it's about first honoring that you are a super thinker and then getting really curious and creative around what your right way might be. What is your unique way of creating conversations with people, of shining your light? And believing and trusting that you can do it your way in alignment with your beautiful super thinker gifts and that it can work. You know, I hear that a lot, like, well, I don't know if it's going to work if I do it my way, I believe that it will. I am taking a stand for the idea that you can lean into your gifts as a super thinker and bring that into what your coaching style is going to be, the gifts you bring into your coaching partnerships, and how you take steps to start developing and evolving your emerging coaching ecosystem and practice. So I would love to know what you hear in this. You know, if you know you're a super thinker, share your comments below. If you suspect you might be a super thinker, what are you hearing? Is this helpful? Are you having any insights? Are you feeling any tension? My ideas take shape when I'm able to be in dialogue with others. And so I would really love your comments below. It'll just help me kind of sharpen some of this up. And I really want to create space for super thinker coaches. It might be something that shows up in the Misfit to Maverick coaching base camp that I run. But in the meantime, I just wanted to get this out there with hopes that it helps one of you, knowing that your super thinker gifts are your superpowers. All right, talk soon.